Hey gang, welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. Today's video, well, it's kind of an update on the status of the Bronco. Now, you know that I've been working on the Mach 1 project, and I kind of stopped on that because I needed to get the Bronco moving. So what I have been doing is getting primer on these panels in an effort to have them ready for paint. And to do that, I've been using a new paint gun. Now, I have not been filming a lot of this stuff going on that you see behind me because I'm taking advantage of the temperatures and trying to get as much done as I can. But I want to show you this new paint gun. This is the Master HP Pro-88. And I bought this off of Amazon just on a whim. I was looking for another gun that I could use. I do have a variety of paint guns that I've used in the past, but I decided to give this one a shot. What I like about this gun in particular is it comes with 3 different size tips. Now, the 1.3 is a good tip, 1.4 is a good tip, and the 1.8, probably not going to use that for much. That is a really big tip, and it may be good for, I don't know, a lot of primer, but I pretty much am going to stay away from that. But I do like the fact that it does come with these different tips. It also says in the instructions that it doesn't have any O-rings. That was a concern. Now, I have the Black Widow spray guns that I got from Harbor Freight. They have served a purpose and they've worked fine. However, I had one fail on me. The O-ring went bad, and that's pretty much it. Apparently you can't get these O-rings. I've even tried going to a paint supply and taking the O-ring with me and trying to find a match. Couldn't find one. Now, somebody else may have some information out there that would say, yes, you can get those parts. I haven't found that. So I got a backup gun, or maybe a better gun in this case, and I've been using it to spray the epoxy primer and also the 2K high build. And things are looking really good. I'll show you how things have turned out with this gun. The other thing, oh, it even says right here, no O-ring design. Sorry, it says it right there. No O-rings. HVLP technology, no O-rings, waterborne compatible. Coaxial linear air valve. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? This also comes with an adapter for PPS cups in the kit, and it came with, of course, its own cup, its big cup. So we're going to take this, I'm going to show you, I've already used the gun, and I'll show you the results of what I have done with it so far, and I'm going to spray some more 2K high build on the hood. So let's have a look. Okay, so here's the box. This is the gun itself, and you see I have a regulator on it. This is not the one that came with it. This is another one that I use frequently, and I also have a water separator. This is a Merlin part that I picked up from Harbor Freight. I had been using the cheaper red ones, but I like these because it has an actual brass fitting in it, and it's a lot sturdier. I've had the red ones break. So currently I have the 1.4 tip in this, but I've already opened up the boxes and took these out. This is the other tips that come with it, and it comes with its specific needle. And I like the fact that they put the information right on the needle so that you can read it. I think this is the 1.8. Yeah. It also has it on the tip and I guess the seat, as you would call it. So of course the needle interacts with the seat, right? So this is a 1.8. This would be the 1.3. I took them out of the boxes and I put them in their own bags to keep track of them a little bit easier. The box, whenever I opened them up, it was a little difficult to get the parts out, and I thought, I'm not going to fight with this later on. Also in the box, it came with a pretty cool looking cup. I will likely never use this. The thing is, whenever you use a cup like this, you have to mix your paint in something like these mix cups, and then dump it into this. And when you're done, clean this. Get everything out of there. I don't use these. I use the PPS cups, but it is a nice vessel. put it that way. The gun itself came in this little bag to protect it during shipping. It came with a nice toolkit, so it's got a brush, wrench. It actually had an air fitting in here, and it has a secondary screen that would go into the top of the gun if you were using that other cup. So this doesn't have any type of screen system. That little plastic screen would go inside the gun after the paint flows through this. It flows through this little screen. So again, I don't use those. I use the PPS style cups, and some not really. I say instructions, not really very much as far as instructions in here. It does go over how to, it says how to connect, some caution, step-by-step procedures, spray pattern, basically what you're trying to do, and it gives you a breakdown of the gun components. Okay. Along with that, it does come with what they refer to as a pressure regulator. This is probably more of an airflow regulator. Done actually, the pressure I regulate through my system I have in the paint booth. So there's nothing wrong with this. I'm not using it though. I have this one that I've been using, and I'm very comfortable with it. So this one will just stay as a backup as I need it later on. Other than that, there is, again, the PPS style adapter, and the only reason I don't have this on this gun is I had another one already out, and so I just used it. This has a nice feel to it. It's not bulky. If you look at it, this is the Black Widow gun that I've been using, one of them, and very similar as far as shape and size. You'll notice that the three knobs up here are on the top, whereas this one has two knobs and then another knob down here at the bottom. Now, what that implies, or what it's this knob here, that's your needle adjustment, and this one would be your spray pattern, and then this one is about airflow. Okay, but basically, as the instructions point out, they label it as number 11, air pattern adjusting valve seat, and it has that as up here 11 on the top, and it also says it down here at the bottom. This number 13 says air pattern adjusting knob, and that's what it also says for this lower one. So they're not breaking it into a specific function so much as by turning this you'll adjust your air pattern or your pattern, and by turning this you'll adjust your pattern. This takes some experimenting for anybody. When you're spraying, you can make any gun do what you want with practice. So you don't want to just assume that you do one thing with each gun and it's always going to be the same. So I just kind of play with things as I go. Whenever I get ready to spray, I will spray a bit of a pattern onto a piece of paper and see how it looks and go from there. But otherwise, I'm going to get this, I'll get some primer mixed up, and we'll spray some panels with this, and I'll show you those panels along with the other ones and what shape they're in. Now, as I said, I've been doing a lot of spraying, and the residue builds up in the paint booth. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure you blow everything out. Make sure it's as clean as you can get it. In this case, I use a leaf blower, blow the dust out, and I've been holding off somewhat on cleaning this because I've been trying to maintain my temperatures. So I'm taking advantage again of the weather and the wind blowing to my back, basically, to where it'll help me clear out the extra dust and debris that is in the paint booth. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing this sort of thing. So as I said, I have the doors. These have been sprayed with epoxy and 2K, and very smooth, very smooth. The grill, same thing. Now this has a little more texture to it, but that's not a problem because all of this is going to get sanded anyway. And I was probably trying to make sure I had enough on it to sand because I still have to do a little bit of body work down in these areas on the corners. Other door, same thing, very smooth. The tailgate, I built this stand just to hold the tailgate while I was doing this work because I want to paint it the same way that it sits on the vehicle. I don't want to have this thing laying flat and then try to paint, it doesn't work. You need to have it in the same as the other panel. So quarter panels are this direction. You need to have your tailgate doing the same thing. And this also turned out really nice. This is a Dennis Carpenter panel. And I will say, when I pulled this out of the box, I was disappointed because this was really, really raw. There was no primers or anything on it, and it took some effort to get it all cleaned up so that I could get the primer on it. I think I may have already mentioned the fenders. Same thing, they're in 2K. And back here I have the Bronco, and I've been working it in pieces, kind of, some pieces differently. Like the quarters I did by themselves with the rocker panels. Then I did the windshield frame and the cowl. I wanted to have things done in a kind of a sequence. The plan is to paint independently the cowl and the windshield frame. And that way I can mask that off and not worry about it later, because it's going to be difficult to paint that while I paint the rest of the vehicle. So with that in mind, I have sprayed the hood with epoxy, and it laid out pretty nice. I'm happy with it. I did find when I was going over this hood, it had a dent right here, which I didn't see before. So I had to fix that. It was actually an out dent. I had to tap it down and just make sure it was good to go. And what I want to do is spray this with the 2K. So that's going to be the next step in the process. Along with that, I have prepped the headlight bezels, so they're going to get sprayed as well. And that has, they both have epoxy on them. This whole process is a little difficult because I have to leave the Bronco in here. I can't be pushing it in and out. It just makes it too difficult to try to do that. So what I will do is wipe down the hood and the headlight bezels with some wax and grease remover, make sure they're ready to go. I'll mix up the 2K, close up the garage, turn on a fan, and come in here and spray. there they are. Got the 2K on the bezels, and of course on the hood as well. You can see it has a decent sheen on it, and I will be scuffing this obviously before I get to final paint. Do a little block sanding, make sure there's no defects visible. I know it's hard to see any of that with the way the lighting is, but pretty happy with the gun and of course how this all looks. Well, alright, that's it for this video. Now, this is the Master Pro-88. I'll post a link for this in the description below if you're interested in getting one and trying it out yourself. But I must say, I'm pretty happy with how this sprays. Somebody had said that they felt the trigger pull on this was pretty heavy, and it does feel kind of heavy, I guess. I don't know what to relate that to, because I think of trigger pull like maybe with a rifle or something like that, or a handgun, and really don't think about it too much on the spray guns. I would say that it's actually about the same as the Harbor Freight gun and this other gun that I have, which is an old generic kind of gun. I mean, it's very similar, so I really can't complain. You know, one other thing I want to show you, whenever you clean up these guns, make sure you take it all the way apart as much as you can. You know, obviously you don't want to take the guts out of it, but when you put the needle back in, it has this spring on the back here and the needle comes out, right? So when you put that back in the gun, if you're setting up your gun, what you want to do, and I'm just going to get this started on here, what you want to do is squeeze the gun, the full trigger, tighten this up to where it just, you can feel it make contact with the cup, whatever. You can feel it making contact on the inside, and leave it at that, because that is max, right? Max pull on that to get that to open up. So you want to be able to have that control, and that's the way to set that up. Now these other knobs, you're gonna have to tweak those yourself. You figure out, do I like the fan this way or that way, or how big, whatever, along with the, you know, what I would say is more of the airflow. So that's up to you on that. But give it a shot if you're interested. So that'll be it for this video. I hope you found some information that you may find valuable. If nothing else, I hope you're at least entertained. I do want to thank you for supporting the channel. If you're interested at all in participating in anything that will help with this channel, I do have Amazon links in the description below and Patreon. And I do want to thank my patrons who continue to support me in making these videos. Very much appreciated. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.